Hi, and thank you for your interest in Animation Prep Studios. In this tutorial, I'm going to attempt to explain how to create custom avatars that you can use in Animation Prep Studios during your recordings from custom MakeHuman community characters that you create and modify in Blender. In the first step, what we're going to do is create a basic avatar in MakeHuman, and we're going to export that avatar as an MHX2 file that we will then import into Blender. So let's get started. Open MakeHuman Community and load a basic template. When it's done loading, you should see a screen similar to this. I've already created a few files, so I'm just going to go ahead and start with that. I will start with the default female. It's almost the exact same character as the default female already in Animation Prep Studios. So what we're going to do is export this. First, I'll just say that I've modeled it. Some important factors are that you should probably include teeth and a tongue. Otherwise, things could look a little strange. And some of the skeleton information you should switch to default with no toes, so that it uses the MakeHuman default skeleton during the export. After that, I believe everything is pretty much set. So what we'll do is we will export this character as an MHX2 file, and be sure to set to meters and include the expressions data. That's important. After that, you can then just export. What I will do, though, is usually create a new folder or a batch folder, batch 5 in this case, to house all of my files. And for each character, I'll create a separate folder. So default female 1. Copy that and just paste it as the name. Now it's exporting that file and should be finished. After that, just minimize MakeHuman and go ahead and open up Blender. Now, if you get a little confused as to where maybe the file would be located, you can always go to the Export tab here and just copy this, and you're good. From that, if you have the MakeHuman import plugin installed, basically found under Preferences, Add-ons, MHX2 plugin, which you have to download, comes with the MakeHuman community application, so you have to install that into Blender. Just basically install it as a new plugin and you're good. And be sure, to enable system file auto run Python scripts. Otherwise, you might see the jaw of your character do something really strange. I don't know. So what we'll do is we'll clear the scene and click the MakeHuman tab, import MHX2, paste that directory that we copied, and there's the file. Now before you go and click that import button, don't do that yet. One thing that's quite important is to click these overrides, face shapes, face shape drivers, and you probably should apply the masking modifiers. Just if you're doing some really like high-end custom stuff, you might want to just leave them as modifiers, but in most cases just apply them. And I think that's it. Proxy mesh, you don't need it unless you're doing something else. Usually just the base mesh, but it doesn't matter. So that's good. Just import that. Let Blender take care of all that information, and it'll construct a character that pretty closely resembles the one that we just created. So here it is in Blender. We can turn on the material shading and just go to like world and turn on environmental lighting, and there it is. So without the skeleton, there it is. Now, very important here for proper conversion of the materials to the asset, it's kind of important that you make sure that transparency is not set on things that don't have any transparency. Otherwise, it could do some weird z-test strangeness where like you can see through things. So just turn off that for like the body, clothes, yeah, just things that don't normally have transparency. This might look a little strange, but the teeth, turn them off, the tongue, hide the teeth, the tongue. Okay, and then just unhide everything. Now the eyes do have transparency, so you should probably just leave those. Same with the eyelashes. If you get this weird thing where the skin has an eyebrow and you have eyebrows like mesh, you could delete them or fix them or whatever. I'm just going to delete them in this case. And the hair does have transparency, but one important thing, so that it knows that it's hair, and it'll give it a special shader at the end here of the material name, just add hair. So anything that's got hair, that will indicate to the importer, the avatar builder, to use a special shader, which you can change later. I mean, it's not super critical. But after that, things look good. Look at the scale. You know, it's not like she's 20 meters tall or anything. So it looks good. Get her exact height, I think, or well, close from the body here. You can see it's about 1.5 meters. So looks good. Even if it were, if you use decimeters, I think it'll automatically convert it down. So that's it for this. What we do now is we save this in the same folder. So save as a blend file, right? So right here is good. Just give it a proper name, default female. And oh, well, yeah, you can save it now. I mean, it's fine. Because you see the textures are located with the same folder file. But it also wouldn't hurt to enable the automatically pack into blend. But I'll leave it off just to show that it will work. So after that, it's pretty much finished. Just make sure you save all changes and you're good. If you want to fix some things, you know, you can quickly, like, I don't know, just do, oops, wrong thing. So there we go. So just kind of touch up the mesh here, you know. I mean, I'm not going to spend any time on this. Okay. So then save it, and you're ready to go. At this point, if you've downloaded the AvatarBuilder from GitHub, you can just go ahead and open that directory, select the project folder, and navigate to assets. There should be a scene in there that you can open, and it'll start Unity up. As long as you have Unity installed, you should have Unity 2019 recent. And now that this is ready, so the import avatar button here, well, first thing is make sure that you have a valid blender.exe file. This should be Blender 2.79. Points to your blender.exe folder in the program files or wherever it's located. And as long as that's satisfied, you can just go ahead and import an avatar. So this would not be open when you get there. But one thing to note is this asset creator. This does all the heavy lifting of you know, diving into the actual blend file and making some changes to the file, making sure that it's all compatible, and then it'll produce images and the FBX and all that, and get it ready for the import into the Unity. So just know that that's what that's doing. Import your avatar from that same thing, right? And that should be good to go. And then you just kind of give it a few seconds to plug and chug. You see this thing? It's converting the images and making sure everything's proper color space and all that stuff. So that's importing the FBX, doing all the normal Unity stuff. And at this point, or when it's finished, it'll present you with a folder that contains the asset bundle. Right here. I don't know what those are, but the thumbnails will give you the final say. So, oops. This is what we got. Now, you can add that character to the scene, check it out for yourself. This actually didn't convert, I'm sorry, but you could select hair, and there you go. Much better. I think I forget which one. Maybe it's this, the actual object name. You have to add, I believe that's it. You have to add the hair to the object name, and then it'll work. I could do it, but just know that's what's going on, I believe. So there you go. There's the hair shader. It looks good. The transparencies all came out. Specularity and stuff looks, yeah, well, that's a little shiny. So maybe a few touch-ups here and there. It's kind of hard to convert from Blender texture parameters. I mean, most of them are there, but the values aren't like one-to-one, so sometimes they don't look quite the same. But okay, there it is. So after you've made your changes, just make sure that you rebuild. It'll make all the updates. And then it'll give you the asset bundles folder, which is this then contains that character. So check the preview. Looks good. And that's pretty much it. We've just created this avatar. At this point, the only thing left to do is we've got all these folders open now. So basically, this folder here is this folder here. It's pretty much the same folder. Like, see it? So that's where it's located. And all you do is you just drag this folder. This is the output folder, right? It contains the asset bundle information and the zipped up blend file. And you just copy that, right? So or cut that into the VR mocap assets folder located at the Animation Prep Studio's VR mocap assets directory. This contains all the default avatars, default props, and all the default scenes. You can just drop your own custom ones right in. You can see that the naming convention is pretty much the same. There's a UUID between the template type or the asset type and the asset name. So default female 1. It's actually, I named it slightly different than the others, so you can see there is distinction there. So let's now load that up. If it all worked. Close out of some of this stuff. Now I'm jumping into VR, so the headset that I'm wearing here, I can move that. Okay. Now, just go to Avatar and Avatar Browser, and you should see default female 1 right there. There it is, loaded and ready. And if everything worked, you should have facial expressions. I think you can see what I'm saying. Can you see what I'm saying? Oh, you can't see what I'm saying. Sorry. That was bad. Okay. So here's a selfie cam. I think it's working. Yeah. And as you see, I've loaded that character. But let me turn on the VR mirror, and you'll see it. Display VR view. Okay, and right eye. Alright, that's pretty bad, but I think you can see what I'm doing. Alright, so like I said, navigate to Avatar, Avatar browser, and you see it right there. Default female one. Load it. It's already loaded. So, facial expressions should be working. Right, you see selfie cam. Right, so that looks good, and yeah, Avatar is working. So, real quick, I'm just gonna kind of bolt through the next one. So, like I said, let me close everything. Close. That's yeah. And yeah, sure, I'll close it. I'll just show you from initial conditions. So, start make human community. Okay, there's the default template. Sorry, hold on. And I'm going to load another character that I created. This one's the ninja. I guess I should call out the creator. So this is from Mindfront on Make Human Community. And now we're going to go ahead and export this. So first thing to check. I guess there's no mouth, but it's probably still good practice just to add a tongue and teeth. So I see that's all there. Pose, again, skeleton is set for default, no toes. And export. Export as a MHX2. Expressions need to be enabled. Meters. Finally, this is in the batch 5 folder for default ninja 1. Copy that name, open the folder, and paste the name. Let's do some work. Okay, again, copy the directory name or the directory path so you can just plop that right into Blender. Clear the scene. If the plugin's been enabled, you should see the MHX2 tab. Import from that directory the ninja. Remember to override face shapes, face drivers. Probably best to apply. And that's good. Import. This is a rather large character, or detailed. Okay. It looks slightly different, but maybe when we turn on the materials and switch it over to environmental lighting, yeah, looks a little bit better. Now the mesh under this should be hidden. Yes. And now we need to manage the materials. So again, anything that doesn't have transparency, you should disable transparency. That includes usually clothing, the body, other things, but not the eyes. Yeah, it's off. Okay. Sorry. That. Okay, and again with the eyebrows being kind of strange there. Alright, there is no hair, so I don't have to worry about the renaming. And it looks good. Not, 2 meters tall, roughly. And save it as the default ninja. Now, switch over to the Avatar Builder. Go to Project, Assets, Avatar Builder. Okay, depending on your style, you might want to keep the previous avatars that you've created, but in this case, I'm just going to show you can delete all of that data and get this thing cleaned up by deleting the information out of 3 folders, and that's these 3 right here: the asset bundles, the asset animation prep processing, and the prefabs folder. So you just delete the prefabs, delete the temp data, and the asset bundles, like just that file. But so there you go. Just the readmes should be left, and now it's all cleaned up. So again, import. We're going to do the ninja. Let it rock and roll. So it's going to convert the textures. In case some of those textures were like, megapixels, it knocks every one of them gets knocked down to about 1024 by 768 for the game engine. But the blend file keeps the original textures. So, your renders will use the high def. Okay. Just check the thumbnails, make sure it's not too crazy. It doesn't look bad. I mean, I could just go with that, and just copy that right in, but I guess for clarity, I'll just append the prefab to the scene. Take a look. It is a little shiny, but then again, that might be preferable. I don't know. A little bit of a backface calling there going on. That could be fixed with the mesh, or I guess you could use the hair shader. It's double-sided, but probably just best to fix the mesh. But it looks okay. I'm gonna use that. Now, open the asset bundles folder because I'm just using that one. And again, this is this folder, right? Okay, and we're just going to copy the contents from this to this. So the VR mocap assets folder, we'll just copy that right into there. Then I actually didn't have to restart Animation Prep Studio, so you could have just clicked on the Avatar browser again, but it should be there. So let's try that out. I'm switching over to HMD. Hang on. Okay. So you can see what I'm seeing. Yeah. So we're going to go to Avatar browser, and default ninja right there. Activate. Hey, I'm a ninja. Cool. All right. So let me go ahead and do selfie cam and just see what the facial expressions look like, if there are, if you can even make them out. Alright, so grab the controller, and yeah, it's not much. Yeah, well, I'm using the this thing, and it seems to be working, except for this is a ninja, the face is covered. So, all right, well, that pretty much concludes it. Hope you enjoy. Hope the tutorials were useful, and good luck. And thanks for watching. Bye.